What's up guys, Excalibur here and welcome back to Star Ocean Anamnesis. So the Facula dragon got some new attacks and let's take a look at them. First up we have the new and improved Solar Flare. I say new and improved, but it's practically the same Solar Flare except he can use it 3 times in a row now. So the first one is just the normal delta formation that we're used to with the 4 HP draining fields on the ground, and then after 2 seconds you get the meteors. Then he can use Solar Flare again, or he can use a different attack. But if he uses Solar Flare again, he spawns another 4 HP draining fields in a delta formation, and this time it's kind of turned as they usually do with the delta formations. And again, meteors rain on those, and then he can do the same thing. He can cast a different attack, or he can use another Solar Flare. And when he uses his third Solar Flare, it's 6 fields that spawn around the edges of the arena. This attack is actually a lot more difficult to dodge for melee characters than it is for long range characters, because long range characters can just stand in the they can just run toward the edge of the arena, and then there are some spaces where they can stand where they won't be touched by any of the fields, and that should make it pretty easy for them, whereas melee characters can do the same thing, except they have to rush to those edges as quickly as you can. So my advice is know how far away you are from the edge of the arena so that you can get there as quickly as possible. And then next up we have Stone Spear, which is actually just an extension on his Misery 1 Stomp attack. So there are 2 versions to this attack, and for the first version he flies straight up in the air and then slams back into the ground like he does with Stomp, except now you get 3 Earth Glaives that spawn in a delta formation around the edges of the arena. And because of that, this attack is very dangerous for long-range characters. Close-range characters don't really have to worry about the Earth Glaives. The only thing that they have to worry about is the Stomp, and that one is pretty simple to dodge. If you know how to dodge the normal Stomp, you can easily dodge this one as a melee character. But long-range characters are going to have to pay attention to what direction the Facula dragon is facing, because one of the Earthclaves always spawns directly in front of him, and then the other ones spawn at like 45-degree angles behind him. And then we have Stone Spear version 2, so for this one he also flies up in the air, but instead of just flying straight up and then straight down, he instead flies backwards and then he stomps into the ground, and that's your cue to know that he's going to do the version 2 attack. So when he slams into the ground, you can see 5 Earthglaives spawn on the opposite end of the arena near the edge, and because of that, again, this one is really dangerous for long-range characters. All they have to do to know when it's coming is, again, just look at Facula Dragon, see what direction he's facing, and when you see him fly backwards, dash toward him as fast as you can if you're playing a long-range character. And close-range characters, for them, I think it's actually better to back away when you see him fly backwards, and make sure you don't back away too far so that you get hit by the Earthglaives, but try to keep like a medium range distance. But if you're feeling risky, you could always use your invincibility frames to dodge the Stomp. And another thing to note about this guy is that, as it says in the notice, he uses Solar Flare less frequently when you're standing up close, so make sure your defender is always keeping on the pressure with their close range attacks. But aside from that, this is a pretty fun fight. I like it. This fight is all about keeping track of multiple things at once, because he can use like Smart Bomb into Solar Flare into maybe like a Stone Spear, and that's a lot of attacks to keep track of. It's a lot going on the field, and I like that. That's pretty fun, except my phone doesn't seem to like it because it slows down whenever he uses Solar Flare, so that kind of sucks, and it makes dodging really difficult. Regardless, hope that was helpful, and I guess I will see you all next time. Peace!